Okay, you ready? Go for it.
Ready?
Go for it.
Now, finally, we're going to call the meeting to order. Brian, you got a roll call?
Yes.
Everybody? Okay. Well, first of all, thank you for coming. And I've neglected to say it before, but I'm going to say it tonight. If anybody in the audience has questions, please hold them to the end and we'll have a time for public comment and questions at the end so we can get through the agenda. So thank you for that. Under old business, we talked about a fundraising project, but I didn't say what we were going to fundraise for. And tonight I asked my wife Karen to come and make a presentation about a mild hyperbaric chamber and its benefits. So
Can you put the picture up, or is that possible?
yeah, you got an I sent you an
You
email.
send me an email.
If you go into email, and I sent you a link. Yeah, right there.
No.
How do I get out of the,
Share your screen.
how do I get,
I don't know, you're the expert.
we're screwed.
Why don't you just start?
I'll start. So when we're, right now, we're all at sea level and we're breathing about 21% oxygen. And that is what they call 1 ATA, which is atmosphere, it's absolute. When you get into a mild chamber, this is not hospital deep dives. This is a mild chamber that you can have at home. You're about 24 to 30% oxygen. For those that don't know, our red blood cells carry about 97 to 98% of our oxygen. About 0.3 milliliters per 100 milliliters are plasma,
There you go.
which is the liquid portion of our blood, carries oxygen. So what hyperbaric does is when you're in it, mine looks like a long tube.
Yeah.
But when you're in it, I have an oxygen concentrator hooked up to it. So I'm breathing, there it is. So I'm breathing more oxygen, so it's more 90 to 95%. The pressure that it goes to is 1.3, which, I mean, you wouldn't think that between 1 and 1.3 it was a big deal, but it is a big deal. And it's 33% more pressure. They compare hyperbaric medicine to diving, scuba diving. So when you're in that chamber, you're considered to be 9 to 11 feet underwater. I've been using one for 2 decades. I started using it for my chronic Lyme when about 20 years ago, medicine decided that antibiotics are evil, and it was costing a small fortune to fly all over the country to find physicians that could treat me. And so I said, the heck with them all. I'm going to put some money into a chamber. I did not use it right away, but when I finally got serious enough to use it, I got in it every day, or almost every day, for 27 months. And I went from, I wasn't bedridden, but I was couch ridden, to being able to be a cut flower farmer for 3 years, putting in 10 to 12 hours a day. It made a huge difference for me anyway. So when you're in there, you're breathing this extra oxygen and you're at that pressure, there's 2 changes that happen in your body. And the amount of oxygen goes into your plasma, which is the liquid portion of your blood, instead of your red blood cells. So here comes Henry's law for anybody that's taken physics. Henry's law is, think about seltzer water, that the amount of gas, which is the oxygen that dissolves in the liquid, which is your plasma, is directly proportional to the pressure of the gas above the liquid. And I had to say that because I can never remember it. So why does that matter? Red blood cells can't fit into the smallest swollen, damaged capillaries that's common in concussion, stroke, inflammation. So this dissolved oxygen in the plasma is small enough to travel anywhere the blood plasma can reach. And so it gets to the injured tissues that the red blood cells just can't get to. So the downstream effects, and this is big print, so I'm not reading 3 pages to you. The downstream effects of this, and it's measured in studies, is the reduced swelling and edema, which is the Boyle's law, which is physically squeezes swollen tissues. It turns down inflammation, which is, I'll spare you that. It stimulates new blood vessels, mobilizes stem cells, which is a good thing. You like stem cells from the bone marrow, and it improves mitochondrial function. And for anybody that's in sports, your mitochondria is where they're the small cells in your body that give you your energy. That's how we function, is the mitochondria. So it forces extra oxygen solved directly into the blood plasma, so it can reach injured and inflamed tissues that red blood cells can't get to. Then it triggers an anti-inflammatory healing and regenerative process. That's the core of it. The magic is in the pressure. Some people get in those chambers and they don't use oxygen, and they still receive benefit because of the pressure, because the plasma is now carrying more oxygen to areas of the body that has been hypoxic or lacking oxygen. That chamber that I have is an FDA cleared chamber. It is cleared mainly for altitude sickness and wellness. So that's why we would be using it, is to maintain wellness. Its safety profile is generally safe, and common side effect is pressure. Just like you would be up in an airplane, you've got to be able to clear your ears. There is no pain in diving. If you have pain, you need to get out of it. There are some absolute contraindications. Untreated pneumothorax, COPD for some people. If it's really bad, they can't get into it. Some can. Certain chemo drugs, which is bleomycin, and severe congestive heart failure. So it's well tolerated for most people, and it significantly increases oxygen delivery to tissues. My husband gets in it, and he claims all his old age aches and pains go away. My son gets in it, and he has autoimmune and chronic Lyme, and he says that it clears his brain fog. That's when he hasn't been in it, and he's the first dive, he'll say, my head clearer after one dive. Did anyone get one?
I think I got that, yeah.
This is basically, I got off of a sports page, but the reason why the guys would be using it is more for physical recovery. They're working out, they're putting in long hours, their sleep is discharged. So this lists everything that would help the guys and the women on the crew to maintain health, to just be able to function, I think. The one that I like the best is
Scroll down.
that one. I have the top right one, which is what they call their military model. It's 34-inch. My son is a big guy and he's asthmatic, so I didn't want him to get claustrophobic. So I got a big one. They were not making the 40-inch at the time, or I would have gotten that one.
And
The
this,
one that interests me for this crew, and it's a new model, is the long shoe. And you can sit up in it and lay down. And anybody that tends to be on the claustrophobic side, it claims there's a 42-inch height at the tallest part of that. I also think that you could work the zippers better. And again, you can either lie down or sit up. And what, I don't know if you remember a long time ago, they used to have these lounge chairs for kids where they were folded up, 3 of them, and then they made into a bed. It looks kind of like that, except it has a steel frame to it, so it's a little heftier. So you would need to be able to buy the unit. You would need an oxygen concentrator, and then beyond that, it would be the chair, and individual oxygen masks. I use an oxy mask. I was given a non-rebreather, and the woman that coached me did not want me using that because she said if there comes a time when you're not filling that up, then you're getting more CO2 than you need. And I love the oxy mask. It doesn't get hot and sweaty under there, and it's really comfortable. And again, if anyone has claustrophobia, it's one I would go with. I'll answer any questions you have, but that's basically why anybody would want to do it. There's a lot of sports teams that use them, from professional to college. I know a couple of the teams, they have like 4 to 10 of them for their guys.
Just telling a story, probably 20 years ago, older guys, remember Terrell Owens, the wide receiver? He had a high ankle sprain, and he had one of these. He slept in it for a week between games. They told me he wasn't going to play for at least 3 to 4 weeks. He played the next game because he was in one of these. Now that's anecdotal, but the beauty of this is that it does promote healing. And everyone on the cruise, there's always something going on with them, whether it's an injury or, even smoke inhalation. So adding that extra oxygen and adding this to and this would be time off. They couldn't do it on duty because you can't get out fast. So this would be.
You need to take 5 minutes
Yeah,
to get out.
it would not be for on duty time. They'd have to come back. But when we started talking, Jeff and I started talking about a fundraiser, I brought this up, and I talked to the chief and to deputy chief and to Jeff, and it sounds like something that the crew and everyone on the cruise could benefit from. And the nice thing about this company, this is where we bought ours, they offer a military and a first responder discount. It's quite a bit of money off. So it would save. I think that we could probably get into a unit and an oxygen concentrator between $7,000 and $8,000 maximum.
The other one that I had before, and I blew the zipper on it, it was 10 years old. My mother-in-law bought for $17,000. They now go brand new $22,000.
Yeah.
It has an internal frame, so I kind of compare it to a Cadillac and a mom's van. This is a mom's van, but it'll get you there. Other than that, there is no difference in them. They're both FDA approved. There's one other, it's called Summit to Sea. It looks very similar to this. It has a little fancier exterior frame to it. What I don't like is it has these funky belts that they have around it. And when I'm getting into the chamber, I don't want to have to mess with belts on top of a zipper.
And this company has been really responsive with customer service.
They're excellent.
Yeah, they're really good.
Is the 5-minute get out time, is it because does it take?
It's because
You got to
of the
decompress.
zippers.
Yeah.
It's the zippers.
Yours as well. I
Yeah.
know someone that claims he gets out in 30 seconds.
Well, I know scuba diving from 30 feet, you can go to the surface
Yeah.
with
So
no
it's
problem, and
more-
you're
the
at a
most
higher pressure than
important
that.
thing, getting in and out of that is the zipper.
The zippers.
Because if you break the zipper, you no longer have your chamber.
Okay.
And then the second thing is your ears.
What's that? Yeah. And the big thing is that there are valves you can push, but it takes that long to get it. So that it's more of a zipper thing, and because there's 3
It
zippers.
has to have some give
Yeah,
to it.
before you can undo the zipper.
Yeah, because if you just start undo, it's going to blow it.
Yeah.
So that's why it would have to be on off-duty hours.
No, I just didn't know that. Yeah, when you first started talking about it, I did a little bit of reading, and I did see there are studies that fire departments are using them because they're finding that it helps with firefighters. Even no matter how tight you get your mask, you're always going to get a little bit of smoke, and they're finding that it helps with lungs a lot. So I know they're still doing studies on it, but you know, the anecdotal evidence is there. So
Yeah, there's a lot more research on the commercial, the deep dives, which is 2 ATA and above. But the reason for that is that's where the insurance money is.
Yeah.
So there are companies and physicians that are doing more and more research on the mild. They're finding that, I mean, you guys don't have a stressless job. And one of the things you're finding with the autonomic nervous system is that you're in parasympathetic or sympathetic, fight or flight, or you're calm and cool and collected. And diving will shift you out of that fight or flight. And if you can kind of zone out, you know, it would be beneficial just, you know, health-wise and mental health.
And one of the things that we talked about was it's like, and we've talked about retention and recruitment. It's a nice retention and recruitment tool that we value our crew members, and we want them to have this ability to do this and other things. So it's just another piece of that.
There's a lot of gyms or wellness places out west and in Europe that are adding them as well as part of their service. So,
And the concept has been around for a long time. I think St. Joe's has a hard unit, and they use it for mostly for wound care, diabetic foot and ulcers that don't heal. They put them in there and they use it extensively.
CO2, poisoning.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's where we are. So we don't need, I don't think we need to do anything except
you know, we'll just start
just
fundraising.
start fundraising, and when we have the money. Yes.
So I have, like, yes, it's beneficial. Do we think that this is something that the guys and gals would use? That your team would use, like,
Yeah.
even with the prohibition of coming in on their off time and not being able to use it on shift? Do you see that being prohibitive?
Well, I think the other thing is they can do it at the end of shift too.
That was my thought.
Yeah.
It was at the end of the
Yeah,
shift.
at the end of a shift to stay for an extra 45 minutes or an hour and be in and take turns in it.
I think the other benefit that we could see as a department would be if we're the only one in the area that has one and we're finding that it's beneficial, and word gets out to other departments and we say, if you schedule, because you can use this 24 hours a day, they could come really anytime there's someone at the station. To me, the benefit could be if you open our doors to other departments that say they want to schedule a time and come and use it, the FaceTime with other departments' employees could potentially benefit us.
And then there's also the sheriffs and the state police that are out and about here a lot.
Okay, and then on the other side of that is, so at our public meeting last month, one of the questions that had come up was like, what else we're doing to try to work towards like funding the department. And one of the things that we said was fundraising, which is, yes, that is something that we're working towards. Does anyone feel like it might be problematic if our first fundraiser is to fund not something that we already have or maintenance, and that it's a step out in beyond like an additional?
I think I understand what you're saying, but
I'm just like from public perception.
Yeah, well, the public perception that I would promote is that we're trying to maintain the health and safety of our crew. I mean, would it be any different that we bought them a piece of safety equipment that would help them be safer? I mean, it's the same thing.
Well, the other thing we said at the meeting was we're trying to create a culture of
Absolutely.
that people would want to come here, and if this thing is as beneficial as you're saying it is, and you were on a fire, and then some of the guys had, you know, to say they had a burn or inhaled something, it could help.
Yeah, I'm not against this.
No,
meeting.
no.
I'm just trying to think about all the different angles of,
Devil's advocate.
that's just how my
Yeah,
brain
no, I think
rolls.
it's a good thought, but I think that by us valuing the crews as a board and as communities, it's to our benefit. I would see this, and I don't know, a piece of safety equipment that we don't have so, because that's not my world. But if we were gonna spend $5,000 for a XYZ safety equipment to make them safer day to day, it'd be the kind of the same thing in my brain anyway.
I guess.
What?
Chief and assistant chief, like, is this a better use, I guess, input from you guys? Is this the best use, or is there something else that you feel like would be more urgent or more
No,
specific thing that we should fundraise for?
This is new to me, but, you know, Karen's come in and talked about it and so forth, and, I see value in it.
Mhm.
You know, I've read some studies and they're using it even for, post-traumatic
Mhm.
stuff for your brain. I mean, I would use it. I had terrible night terrors, so I would, if that would help
Mhm.
and not make it worse, then I would absolutely use it.
From a public perspective, you know, what I would suggest we do is come up with a fundraising objectives. One of them is this, and the others could be help offset cost, and assign a fundraiser to achieve those other things. This shouldn't be the only thing.
Right.
It would be like what we talked about at the meeting. So if you posted, hey, this first thing is for this objective, and then
then
the second thing
there may
is
be
the
something
next
else,
objective.
yeah, coming down the road, absolutely.
Well, I think fundraising should be for, not for necessities, but for, yeah, extra that we just, you know, that we can't really justify spending the money on, but, you know, if we can fundraise for it, because the fundraising is the board going out and asking the public, you know, to help us do something different. So, sorry, Josh.
No, I was gonna say sort of the same thing. It's just, if we're fundraising for anything, you know, we shouldn't be fundraising for something that's just simply a necessity, like firefighting turnout gear. Like, we have to have that by law.
Mhm.
We have to have that stuff to do our job, that sort of thing.
Mhm.
So if we're fundraising, it should never be, well, we're just trying to offset the $3 million budget and we made $8,000 fundraiser. The taxpayers aren't gonna feel that.
No.
But, I think that when you fundraise, what Jeff's saying is there is always a goal of those funds.
Mhm.
And it should be things above and beyond that we don't necessarily feel right about adding to our line in our budget, but would like to obtain.
Mhm.
So I think that as long as we have a goal, we're not just nilly-willy doing fundraisers.
Right.
And,
Mhm.
well, we're gonna offset your budget. Well,
Yeah.
come on. It's for a XYZ, and that is what you're fundraising towards. And these are the benefits, so that the people that are giving money to whatever we're doing, they see that that's what it's gonna be for. So
Mhm.
that's how I feel.
Yeah.
But very much what you're saying.
And my only other question
Yep.
for right now, I promise not.
No, you're fine.
Go
My
for it.
only other question is just like, you know, for the record, for both permanent records and our paper records. Just, was there anything else that you were dreaming of or thinking of as a possible fundraising goal before
No,
we brought this to you?
I hadn't given it a lot of thought.
Mhm.
So, but this sounds like something that would be worthwhile.
Mhm.
So, but no, I haven't tried to think of.
Yeah, I just want to make sure
Anything
that,
like that,
yeah. We're not, that it's not a perception that we're
Oh, forcing it on.
forcing it on
Yeah.
you. We're saying this is. the
Yeah, I
best
can,
idea that-
when I brought it up initially a few months ago.
Oh, I believe you did. I just
Yeah.
want to make sure it's in the record.
A tanning bed is the other thing.
Yes. Yeah. Or the sauna.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
I actually thought about a sauna too. but-
Yeah, I was gonna say, and actually, like, when you're talking about this, I'm like, yeah, this has a lot of similar benefits to saunas, but, you know, this
This
might
Oh,
be
let's go
publicly
for it.
perceived a little
goes a
better.
little bit above and beyond what the sauna. Saunas have their place.
Absolutely.
I think the other thing to just talk about the fundraising aspect, I just happened to go to a cornhole tournament for veterans.
Mhm.
And it's been, I think it was the one that I attended was the 4th or 5th already. And I got to thinking, you know, we should be having something that we have annual.
Yeah.
If we get a couple of these, the same things, and we do them every year, we'll get bigger and bigger turnout. I mean, even if we only raise $10,000 a year, there's a lot of things like this that won't affect. $10,000 is really a drop in the bucket on the, we could do some good things on the side,
And
so.
picking those kind of fundraisers that are replicable year after year. I mean, for an example, we're not gonna probably ever be on this level, but the Shriners Festival of Trees, the
Oh, yeah.
volume of money
Sure.
that raises, that then they can turn around and dump back into the communities year after year is completely mind blowing.
Yeah.
So not that we're ever gonna be in like six figures fundraising, but you know, that repetition is something that people are looking forward to and
Annual event.
planning
Yeah.
for, is huge.
Anybody got anything else?
Yeah, just two quick things.
Sure.
I find this very interesting.
Yep.
How often do they recommend you use it or?
Good question. There is power in consistency. My son can get it once and his brain fog's gone. His autoimmune's not calmed down, and if he got in it every day, it would be. But he's 37, and I gotta let him do what he's got want us to do. Right now, they're talking about blocks. They're talking protocols of blocks of 20, 40, or 60 days. When I started diving, anytime I saw a blind doc, they said it's gonna be 2 years. You're not gonna feel better for 2 years. So I was determined I was gonna get in that baby for 2 years. It ended up being 27 months. Now they're finding that there's benefit to your body after you've been under the pressure to not be. So that's why they're saying blocks of 20, 40, 60, give your body a chance to heal without the pressure. And then, if you need it, get back in. One of the gentlemen I follow, he does a protocol like every 3 to 4 months. He'll get in for 2 weeks or 4 weeks, depending on what his body, how his health is. And he's a chiropractor, so, you know, it's not bad.
How long?
The sessions typically are 60 minutes. I did 60 minutes. There are some people that do 90 minutes. I tried doing 90 minutes and it was too much oxygen for me. So some of it can be very individual and you gotta be paying attention. There's some people that will get in it for 90 minutes, wait the 4 hours. They recommend that you space it and get back in for 90 more minutes. Not this one.
You know, the other thing is, there's a difference between a chronic illness and
Yeah.
healthy people using
Yes.
it to maintain or do something.
Yeah.
Anecdotally, I was in it for maybe 2 or 3 times a week for a year, maybe. And other than the fact that the Lord didn't want to take me home, this guy, when I told him about my heart, that I had widowmaker, that I was 100% blocked and 97 on the other, he said, "It's amazing you weren't a cardiac cripple." And I kind of look at 2 things. Number one, God was good to me, but number 2, being in that chamber, building extra capillaries and blood vessels in my heart probably had a lot to do with that. So that's anecdotal. So if someone got in it, like if we get in it twice a week, is that going to benefit them? Yeah. If they get into it, you know, in a period of like, you know, 7 or 10 or 15 days in a row, their schedule may not be able to do that, but there's value in being in it.
And if you have an injury, that's when you want to get into
Yeah,
it
yeah.
for a number of days in a row, and you know, because it's gonna speed up that healing. The PTSD, I read that they're saying 80 hours and 40-hour blocks. So, and then there's a maintenance thing that happens. Like I still continue to dive. Right now, it's just once a week. I need to get in more often. But there's a maintenance that happens that you don't want to lose. And it has an anti-aging component to it.
Yeah, there are places when we lived in Arizona, there are places in Scottsdale that you'd have to buy time in these because it was they claim it was anti-aging.
And
So-
to a degree, it is.
Yeah.
It's not gonna make my wrinkles go away,
No.
but
But it might,
it
yeah,
helps your joints and it helps your muscles and all
Okay.
that good stuff.
Well, if you get in it
That's where
regularly,
some
I don't
cellular-
think
your
that you're as old as you
speeding
say
up
you
your
are, so.
cellular regeneration, but with what you're doing.
Yes,
And it's like, kind of any of that type of stuff, like doing it and taking a pause, then lets your body react to what you've just done versus doing it just continually.
yes. But if you're trying to heal something.
Right,
that
it's like,
consistency
it's
is
like
huge.
that, it's like that ice at the beginning, like you put it on and then once you get past that point, then you swap to your
Yeah.
ice and your heat. You know, something like that to try to like facilitate that.
All right, well,
It's just my last
Yeah,
question.
go
You
ahead.
guys have had it a while. What's the cost been to me?
None.
none.
Go run-
Well,
go
As
run
long as
it.
you don't blow a zipper, it doesn't
Yeah,
cost
as
anything.
long as, and, I wrecked my zipper because I forced it, which I don't suggest. And when I called this company and they helped me ship it back and all that good stuff, they made the arrangement to have someone come pick it up. They replaced it. They replaced the chamber for free. Right.
We get a strong zipper, my guys can break it in.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
need to, need
Yeah.
to be careful of that.
If they make Velcro, that'd be safer.
So, well, thank
What
you, I
is the
appreciate it.
cost to run it? Like
It
electrical wise?
does not cost a lot in
No.
electricity.
I don't
The
know.
only other thing on upkeep is that I changed the filters in the oxygen concentrator
Mhm.
yearly.
Okay.
But other than that.
All right,
Old sock would work for that.
well, thank you, thank you. Moving on, can you give us an update on the vehicles, the chief's vehicles?
They are in Lincoln.
It's getting pretty close. That's it?
So we decided not to go with camper top because it was gonna be an 8-week wait and they were much more than what we got. They were, not that we didn't have enough, but they were $5,000 a piece. So instead of spending that money and waiting 8 more weeks, we went with a hard tonneau cover with a head rack. So we still have something to mount the lights to. And that was half the money. So the lights came a couple days ago, so I have the emergency lighting, sirens and that sort of thing downstairs. I'm gonna take them up tomorrow. And I'm not sure when they'll get to installation, but the radios have been ordered as well. So when the trucks get here, the company that does our radios will come right here and install the radio.
Probably a couple more weeks.
I would assume, they had ordered, headgear for both trucks and one plow. And so that's been ordered. Am I forgetting anything?
You have to get the link.
Yep, haven't done that, and I haven't called the guy that does our lettering. He's in Old Town, and, that'll be same thing. We'll have to take one at a time down to him,
Yeah.
and it'll just take a day to get them lettered. It's just a matter of getting into him. But we could still put them in service without being lettered or what have you.
Right.
I think that's it as far as, the
And
process.
I was surprised, somehow in my head, I thought they were gonna be white. They are fire engine red.
You got a photo, right?
Yeah, they're dirty. Yeah, but they're sitting, if you go through
I'm gonna check
Thornton's
them
and
out
you-
tomorrow.
and you look at, and you see 2 red 3/4 ton pickups, that's ours. So, and then, the next item is the white ladder truck. I sent an email to the town manager of Howland asking if, however we'd have to go about it, that if they could sell it, we could sell it because we don't have the title, and then apply the money to the lease. I haven't heard back from him definitively, and I think it's gonna have to go before the select, obviously have to go with the select board. And if I have to, I'd go to the meeting and plead our case for that.
He responded.
Oh, we did?
Yeah, he said he'll send it to the board
Okay.
and we should get feedback, so.
Okay.
Excellent.
How about financials? You want to go through the financials?
Sure.
We got big pieces of paper for you.
Yeah, I printed, did you guys want to, if you don't want to look at it on the screen, there's copies over there. No, I think that's the old one. This is the black and
It's
white
a
one.
big one.
This the, yeah, that's last. So this is the, profit and loss out of QuickBooks through today. And really the best thing to do is look at the end of November, but even right now. So, we're 43.6%. We still got two weeks left, 2.5 weeks left. So, I mean, we're about where we should be budget wise. I added, these other lines in here that we hadn't, they hadn't been showing up because we don't on the very bottom. The health insurance opt-out, the insurance, the income protection, we've been paying that. I'm not sure why that's not going into this line. I gotta double check that. The short-term disability, we've been getting that bill.
Yeah, we,
So it
and
might,
we've been paying it.
yeah, we've been paying it. So I don't know why it's not on this line. I gotta double check that, but, unemployment, the line, the $10,000 unemployment, that's also in the other insurance costs. We just need to get it broken out and it'll go in here. Have we started making any payments on the chief vehicles yet?
No, we haven't taken delivery.
We haven't taken delivery. So when we take delivery, we'll start seeing money hit that account. And of course, I don't think we'll see any money come out of the vehicle reserve or the contingency, but I at least wanted it there so that we could see, overall where we're at. I think, we paid a few of the health insurance opt-outs from last year. They should have hit in this year's budget because we paid them after the start of the year, but yeah, so there's a couple things we still got to chase down. Yeah. Yeah. So I do think there was a couple, although did we cut those checks before the end of the budget last year? We might have cut those before the end of the year last year, I think. I think you guys, Chief, did you guys, the insurance opt-out, you guys cut that before the end of the budget year last year. Okay, so that's why we're not seeing anything on this line item.
So two things about, first of all, any questions or comments?
And all of these, if you ever want to go, everybody has through your director emails, you can go into the shared drive and go into meeting minutes. And there's a folder in there, financial reports, and that's these
That's what I was
reports.
gonna say, that's where they're gonna live.
Yeah,
right? So you
yeah.
can- You
So
can,
every month I'm putting them in
you
there.
can go back and look at any given time.
Yeah, look, I reviewed the last one. I was looking this afternoon to see if this one was in there.
Yeah.
I got to it late. And then I can show you the,
Only because it has been so little, I've had a hard time seeing it, so.
Yeah,
You're good.
this is good. I like this better. I like paper on this one.
I'll bring up the, so where we're at so we ended November. So if you guys remember, we ended October with, at 356 in accounts receivable. So that number dropped some. So now we're down to 312. We got a good payment month, but we also had the contractual obligations jumped. So there's some of that money.
Yeah.
So right now we have 312,000 outstanding in accounts receivable. So, that number, if you look back, this is the numbers all the way back. I think I got them to 18. This is from Howland, but you can see accounts receivable number kind of always runs around. It was running high there for a little while when you guys in Howland, but, for the last couple of years, it's right around to the $250,000 mark. So,
Just the nature of the beast.
yeah. And then what's outstanding by, so the feds, between the state and the feds, they owe us about 124,000, commercial accounts. So that's all insurance is about 123,000. So
And the
that's a breakdown by
self-pay on that one.
the self-pay is patients. It's, we owe, about 45,000.
Yeah.
So,
The good news is we're online with the budget. That's the good news.
Have we had any updates, from the hospital that still, or any movement on their account with the
No.
hospital still exists?
I think, no, we haven't.
Okay.
No comments.
Yep.
We're still gonna go there because,
Mhm.
but it's,
We can-
nature of the beast.
Just not gonna do those types of runs.
Yeah, that wait and return, we do those, they don't do those anymore.
Mhm.
So,
I just didn't know if there was any movement at all.
And we're not the only service that is in the exact same situation
Yeah.
with that.
it's
facility.
common to that
They're gonna have a
facility.
very hard time moving those patients.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
All right, any other questions or
No,
comments?
the other thing, you'll start noticing a difference on this report, on this, monthly report. I've been working with Michelle. We're trying to get the line items from the budget to match the line items in QuickBooks. So we're getting there. It's going to be a little bit of a process, but, that way we can chase our budget and then we're setting it up so that when the warrants are created, the lines
I noticed that.
will match the accounts in QuickBooks too. So that'll help us chase everything from when we pay it, where it goes in QuickBooks and then how it matches the budget. So we're getting to where we can chase everything through. So.
I have one request on the warrants, and I don't know how hard, if it adds a ton of extra work, please do not, if there's any way that the list on the front that has which bills and receipts are in it,
Can
if
line up.
that could be in the same order, I'm gonna be totally honest, I am that person who has the computer broken in half right now. I've been trying to do them on a cell phone for the past month.
Oh, it's hard.
And it is insane right now and I don't want to leave you in a point where it's not signed up on, but I'm dying.
It's hard on the phone to go up and down, up and
Yeah.
down.
They don't scan in order sometimes.
Okay.
I line those up.
Mhm.
They just, sometimes it's spot on, sometimes it's not even close.
Yeah.
Like page 2 of a document will be somewhere else within the stack.
Okay.
And there's been no rhyme or reason. We've changed how we scanned them. Sometimes it works pretty good, sometimes it does
Yeah,
not.
sometimes they're perfect.
Yes.
And then other ones I'm like, did we drop these on the floor?
No, it's not,
You've even gone in and individually
Okay,
transferred
and it still didn't
30
work.
pages and
Okay.
it still goes up.
Because I was trying to get them in order one time. I
I know
spent
how
a
to fix
full
that.
afternoon deleting, putting them back in, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah,
And-
Josh, you don't have to do that. Do you guys have Adobe Acrobat? You could just move.
You have to pay for Adobe.
Yeah.
I wonder if is PDF, there's a couple other options.
No, I think I know what's happening. I'll show them again. I think what's happening is when the documents get scanned, it's the naming of the file, because the scanner scans them individually.
Mhm.
And if the name on the
Yeah,
thing gets out
That's
of,
exactly what's happening.
what happens is in the Google Drive, you can sort it before you add it to the thing. I'll show you how to do that. I'll go back into the instructions and I'll add.
We've had better luck scanning them in to my desktop, grabbing them out of a folder rather than adding them to the drive. That's
Yeah.
where it starts to go wonky. And again, I've done one by one, dragging every
believe it.
page over, and it wouldn't take it in order. So I'm just like, I got other things.
How much
Well-
hair do you have left under there?
What's that?
How much hair do you have left under there?
Oh, that's minor.
Cody was it Monday or Tuesday? He was doing the payroll warrant and I was in there and he was like, can we flip one page out of the 4 it was 180 degrees off. He's like, how do we fix this? I'm like, just leave it.
It's 42 pages to add. And it's like,
Yeah, I know.
this Hail Mary, and it looked close, so I sent it.
Yeah.
It's hard. And the
Oh,
only,
I know, it's not easy.
and
That's-
the only, and you guys may do the same thing. I open one and then download one and keep.
That's
Oh,
what
God.
I do.
That's
on-
equally as bad for you, though.
Yeah, but I
Well, when
can,
I have my computer, I have it on
Yeah,
my computer
got
and I
dual
look at the top of it
monitors,
on my
so I
phone
put
it,
and then I
so
send it.
basically,
Here,
Yeah, that'd be.
yeah, to go through and to make sure everyone's right, you gotta go, and then you go.
See how
Yeah,
everybody-
you
See, that's what the dual monitor will help you with.
But at
I was
any
just gonna
rate.
say we go back to paper and everybody drives in.
I can, in all honesty.
But as, old school, but as the world turns, thank you for doing it. It's still works.
Seriously,
So,
thank you.
anyway,
And then not this report, but the accounts receivable report is in the budget document. So if you guys go into the drive
Yeah.
and you go to corporate documents and then budget or finance, the budget documents in there. And the one that says annual budget, that is our budget document. That's the one that we'll work on when we start the budget process next year, or January. This is the document. So everything's in there. You guys can go in and poke around and, if you delete something and something goes haywire, I'll be able to fix it. So don't worry. So don't worry about that.
but don't do that.
We'll know it was you too.
Yeah, really. So we okay on the finance side?
Yeah, I think so. Unless there was any questions.
Okay. New business. One of the things that I wanted to talk about tonight that probably, might take some time. I I asked Josh to just give me a recommendation for staffing. And I'm gonna read you, I'm gonna just read it to you. He recommends, this says, I recommend a minimum of 4 new full-time employees. I'm deeply concerned that we may lose employees, forcing them each week for more than their scheduled hours. In 2024, we had 5,677 hours of overtime, or on call to fill vacancies to keep us at minimum staffing. In 2025, that number was reduced at 3,028. And and it goes on that, and I'm gonna read a little bit more of this in a second, that we are not at core staffing. I don't know how many of you have run crews of people, but core staffing is the minimum amount of people it takes to do the job, and we're not there. So by adding, I talked about this with Jeff and with Josh a couple times, and the alternative to adding 4 would be 2 this year and 2 next year, which is a bad idea. I'll tell you why it's a bad idea. We take all the pain this year to get the gain next year. And by adding 4, it gets us past core staffing, and it allows a crew, a designated crew, to be a transfer unit all the way through, every day. And let me,
Well, I was
yeah.
finding you the number that's.
Yeah, I get that in a second. But the basic of how the crews work, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, we're short-staffed all the time. These 2 guys, the deputy chief and the chief, average about over 90 hours a week, every single week.
It's 96.
96.
That's the minimum.
That's the minimum, because we're not staffed on the weekends. So if in fact we put 4 people on, put 4 new on, and budget them, 3 of them at paramedics, we can reduce overtime moderately, modestly by about $177,000, not counting their time. And we could, if we put those and have a dedicated transfer ambulance and crew, we can probably look to say that we can have somewhere between $120,000 and $160,000 of extra revenue. So I put the numbers together, and where'd it go? I got this somewhere. You take 4 new crew members, we're looking at somewhere about $360,000. You subtract the overtime savings of about $150,000, and then add in $180,000 of revenue, you come up with a net increase of only $36,000. And those are assumptions that I'm making and that we're making, but they're pretty modest assumptions.
And we have data to back that
And we
up.
get data to back it up, because in Josh's recommendation, we had to turn down 650 transfers last year because we didn't have the staff.
So far this year, right, Josh? 650 so far. this year.
It's about that every year.
Yeah.
So with adding the 4th ambulance, which was, he just told me tonight, that was great, because this is the 3rd transmission.
Yeah.
We've got an ambulance that they just had to put the 3rd transmission in. Luckily this one was warranted.
We're down to
Is
3.
Is it the same one that was just?
Yeah,
warranted that we just
same
put in?
one.
Oh,
So without that extra ambulance, we'd have been dead in the water.
Yeah.
So basically, we're not doing anything tonight. I just wanted to put it out there for you to begin to think about it, because next month we're going to start looking at the budget. And this is going to be a fairly moderate or to large get, but the outcome of it.
Yeah,
The
but
actual
36,000 is
What's
pretty,
that?
the 36,000 net difference is not
It's not
kind of
even-
a drop in the bucket
No, it
for
isn't.
what you're getting.
No.
Yeah.
No. And basically, one of the things that it gets us, he drew me a nice thing on the board the other day that showed this, how the staffing pools work. And when you don't have enough staff, you got to call people in and you mandate them to come in. And
It's not a
Yeah.
good culture.
well, not a sign, not
They
a
don't
good
wanna do
culture.
it.
They
It's
don't
not
want
a
to
good
do
way to
it.
retain employees.
And I mean, and I can't compare me to them because a couple of generations, but I mean, I used to work a lot of hours and I had no problem with it. Most people now want to work their shift and that's it. And it becomes a retention and recruitment problem if in fact we keep mandate them to come back in. Now we come to the real big problem.
But it also becomes a cultural problem beyond the fire station,
Oh,
because
yeah.
then you're impacting families and marriages and spouses and kids' relationships with their parents on
Yep.
top of just the hours and the
Sure.
working.
But then we come to the next one where these two, the two positions of deputy chief and chief are essentially working 96 hours a week.
Mhm.
That's not tenable for anybody. I challenge anybody anywhere to do what they do. And you wouldn't do it very long.
I
And-
did that hours in other work and I couldn't do it for what
Yeah.
you guys do it.
So basically, these four positions will reduce that dramatically. And it will gain us some revenue. And it's not gonna cost us that much. So I'm just putting that out there so that we can get ready as we put it into the budget, you'll see it. And even Jeff and I had talked about how much it would cost each town. It's basically, but the assumptions we're making is chump change. It's just not a lot of money for what we're gonna get. And then anecdotally, I came in here, what day was it?
Monday.
Monday. It was a
Monday morning we
Yeah.
were in here.
No, that was another day. I came in and as I came in, they got toned.
Yeah.
I couldn't find anybody. I walked into the bay. Was it Nate he had just come back. He dropped a patient and an ambulance patient in PVH, shot over here, dressed up, said, "Hi, Bob, bye, Bob," got in the truck and went to a fire scene. I was the only person in the firehouse. Of course, I ain't gonna do anything, but I was the only one here. They were already out. And then it happened again yesterday.
Every day this week.
Every day.
Every
this
day,
week.
yeah. I've been in, I think, every day. You and I were here by ourselves Monday for about
Yeah.
an hour.
Yeah.
I've been in twice where you were by yourself and you were by yourself.
Yeah.
And I come in and they're like, well, I'm covering the station by myself. Well, I'll hang out and I can drive a vehicle. I guess.
It's been a busy couple of weeks.
Yeah,
I've heard
it has,
you guys
yeah.
fly
Yeah,
by
so
many
basically,
times.
this will mitigate a lot of that
Thank you.
for not only the crews, but for them and for the people of it. It's just dangerous. It's dangerous not to be fully staffed.
One of the other things that came up in that, in our public meeting was the suggestion by several folks that
Yeah.
we consider the per diems and putting on a per diem transfer. Where, folks,
Where am I gonna find those? We tried that and it worked until it didn't.
Mhm.
That's why we're in the situation we're in. I mean, for any of those people that think that it's just that easy, that we'll just go get some per diem. Where?
Well,
You
no.
know, we have full-time openings and we don't get applications,
Yeah.
you know, so.
And the thing about per diems in the medical world that I used to work, I had per diem people, but when you call them, they don't have to come in.
right,
And at the end of 6 months, when they don't come in, I'd fire them. But it's great when people either recommend it or upper management think, oh, this is really great. We don't have to pay them as much, we don't have to pay them benefits, but that person isn't there anymore.
Mhm.
So,
The other challenge with that is you don't know what you're getting.
exactly.
oh, absolutely.
When they show up.
Yeah.
And they're not, I don't mean that bad, they may know what they're doing, but they're not part of the crew.
And they're
No,
not
that's right.
familiar, they're not
Yeah.
familiar with the station or the equipment or
Yeah.
anything,
And
you
they,
know.
are they cross-trained? I mean,
Yeah.
there's been public that say, well, why don't you just get some ambulance people? We used to do that. And it actually took more people because they weren't cross-trained.
Yeah.
So when an emergency comes in, you look around the room and go, well, what are you qualified to do? What can you do? What can you do? It's.
And
so-
you gotta react and they're
So they
saying,
can't-
where's the gear at? You gotta take another guy and say, well, your gear's gonna be over there, you know,
No,
you're
it's,
not prepared.
We used to do that.
Yeah.
And until we couldn't.
but, and then the next one is vehicle replacement. We don't know what's coming from the government. Supposedly, we're still online for the, congressional directed spending, but we haven't heard anything yet. So in the next budget, there will be another replacement used ambulance again. And as Chief told me today, if we didn't have the one we bought recently, we'd have been really hurting for vehicles.
Mhm.
So that's where we are. Anybody have anything other than new business, anything? Because other than that, I don't have much.
I'd like to put on the agenda, as an ongoing topic.
Yeah.
Of recruitment and retention.
Yeah.
And, I think that that's one of the most important things that we could talk about as a group. So I'd like to have it on there every time. Ideas and it's one of the reasons for trying to gain more staff. If we can't, be in the same playing field as the other stations, we're not gonna survive. So we've done tremendous things of trying to get the pay to where it should have been after we left the municipality that we were with. We've done more with the benefit package and obviously we've done better with the schedule than we used to do. But it's all of those things. And if we can't do that, then you're not gonna have people in this building. And I know that it stings, it's expensive and so forth, but it's just the reality. And either we can, or we just don't, and we let somebody else do this.
I know the community colleges and local community programs, usually like your Region 3 community college, each program is required to have a advisory board. Is there anyone from here that's part of the advisory boards that down there, or is there someone who could, that time could be delegated to that would maybe free up some time for you guys in the front lines?
I serve on the one for ATC in Bangor. I used to be on the one at Region 3, but the program wasn't successful, so I just stopped.
Yep.
But,
Is there one, does Hancock County have one? The one
I
that's
don't
down
know.
in Ellsworth?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but,
Let's say, because when I was at Tree Line, I was on the ones for EMCC and Hancock County for their heavy equipment and truck driving programs.
Well, one of the things Josh and I talked about in that light was going to like the career days.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And, you know, him and I just go down and talk to people
Mhm.
and tell them about what we're building here. And we do have a unique opportunity because we are the first and only right now
Mhm.
district. So, and then, so we talked about that. We also talked about, so if you have any other ideas or
Right.
bring to us about retention recruitment, and it can be something simple. I mean,
Mhm.
and it could be employee recognition or, you know,
Yeah.
having some, as a fundraiser, having some extra money that you could do gift cards that like employee of the week or, you know, attaboy this or that. I mean, those are things that would
Mhm.
to build and maintain morale.
Yeah.
And to build a culture that he's worked on hard, but it's our responsibility along with him. So I'll put that on the agenda review. I'll put that standing agenda.
maybe it'll just keep it on the forefront of our mind.
Yeah,
Try to
and
think
talk-
of some of these
and-
things.
and
maybe
think
we
about some
haven't
ideas.
tried.
Yeah.
Right.
I can reach out to Hancock County because that's not too far. That one's not like crazy far out of the way. I'll reach out down there and see if they'll pick that for program.
Any other questions or comments on that? Public comments? Anybody have any public questions or comments?
Just a meeting. Informative.
Good. With that said, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor? Thank you very much.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Right.
All right. So, stop.